Hey all my Sono supporters. So if you guys follow my Instagram, you guys know that I recently got a new job in the past few months. So I wanted to focus today's video on how to find a job. So as far as you guys know, I am about a year and a half after graduating. I graduated in 2019, and I've been trying to figure out this whole journey of finding a job, this whole hiring process, all of that. But what I'm going to focus on today is how to find a job, kind of give a whole idea of where you should start looking. Obviously you could Google a bunch of stuff, but from my experience of learning to find jobs, you kind of have to think outside of the box to make sure that you're able to look for what you actually want. So my very first advice that I would recommend is for you to look up what the average pay or salary is in your specific area that you want to work in. This is actually very beneficial because this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect as far as what the hourly pay is going to be and what you can actually think about asking for when you get asked a question, well, how much do you want to get paid? That question usually chokes me up a lot because I don't ever want to get lowballed on how much I get paid, but I don't ever want to be disrespectful for asking a big number, right? So I live in the Maryland area, but also I live by Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So of course, every single place and also every single county has totally separate pay. So depending on where I am applying is what I'm going to be looking for or asking as far as how much my pay or salary is. So the first thing that people usually do is to check on Indeed.com. If you don't know what Indeed is, it's basically a website where a lot of places will put job alerts and job hires on there. Indeed is usually the top place that people look when they're trying to find a job. Most job ads are from Indeed, and it's actually a very popular website. However, when using Indeed, there are some pros and some cons to it. Pros are that it's the easiest way to look up a job, and there's always job postings on there at all times. It's very easy as far as trying to find which specific area you want to go to. Also with Indeed, you could also sign up for alerts if there are new job alerts coming in your area. Your resume could easily be uploaded onto Indeed and people could look at your resume and want to hire you from there. It is very easy to use, especially when you're starting out. It's also just the basic thing that you need to have. One thing that I did find that was a con with Indeed is that everybody uses it, right? So that means that if you're a sonographer in your area looking for a job, everyone else graduating the same class and different programs, they're probably looking on Indeed and all applying to those websites too. So with this, it's very competitive. I would say that don't depend too much on Indeed because everyone else and their mamas are applying to it. Another advice I would recommend is that right after you graduate, or even before you graduate, make a LinkedIn account. I don't have much knowledge on it. I actually don't use mine that much, but when I did graduate, I did find that it was smarter to make a LinkedIn because also it keeps track of all the people you've been in contact with or actually making more connections with other healthcare professionals as well. There are always job listings on LinkedIn as well. It's kind of like Indeed sometimes, but it's a little bit more professional, and usually people who are posting their job opportunities on LinkedIn is that they're trying to actually build a network and connect with them. So take advantage of that. It's kind of like a Facebook for business people. So also be cautious of what you post on there. Another good social media thing that you should join, whether you're a student sonographer or a sonographer fresh out of school, it doesn't even matter. But I always recommend joining a sonography Facebook group. Joining a sonography Facebook group is such a joy to be in. You have so many supportive people. Everyone is so nice on there to give advice. If you think that my advice is good, everyone on there has been through the experience, or they're just people who are starting out and just have basic questions. Sometimes also they'll post job listings on those sonography groups, depending on if you join a local sonography group or just a general one if you're looking to travel around. Also in a sonography group, there's a lot of funny memes on there. It's so funny because once you start actually knowing the lingo of sonography, the memes are freaking hilarious. Some other things when you want to consider going into sonography are that there are different opportunities as far as what you want to get into. For example, a lot of people don't know this, but you could definitely be a traveler sonographer. So you've heard of people being traveling nurses where they go to different places and do assignments and they make bank. That's the same thing. When looking for a traveling sonography job, you usually want to look for some type of health recruiter company or some type of temp agency. Usually with traveling sonography, they are usually 13-week assignments, and you would kind of look for a company to work for and they find you jobs. So it's not always the most dependable source of income, but with traveling, it does have a lot of benefits as far as you'll be able to travel and explore new areas. You get your housing and food and most things like that paid for, and you'll be able to experience different areas of the healthcare field. In sonography, you can work at different hospitals or clinics. Most of them are only 13-week assignments. So if you like that temporary, like high level energy of moving around all the time, I like consistency. So I don't know if I would want to be a traveler, but I do hear a lot of benefits from being a traveler sonographer because you just have that awesome experience. I actually was considering doing it, but especially during a pandemic, I don't think it was the best idea. So I kind of put a hold on it. One of my favorite loopholes that I found while doing job listings is that not all job listings can afford being posted on Indeed or on LinkedIn. Some things that I have discovered while applying for jobs is that most like big name companies or healthcare facilities, as far as like, for example, Johns Hopkins, they'll have their job listings specifically only on their hospital website. So what I'm saying is that if you're having trouble finding jobs or you want to work at a specific healthcare facility or network, try going on their specific website and looking for the job. They don't really broadcast or advertise it as big on their website. So some advice that I found out that is really helpful is that type in whatever healthcare facility you want to work for, and at the end of it, type in career. Most of the time, they'll have a separate web page on specifically just like the career opportunities at that place. So for example, if I wanted to work for Johns Hopkins, I would type in Johns Hopkins career, and it would take me to a specific page for all the job opportunities. And also this works for like any type of job, anything like target career. I don't know why they have to make it so like secretive. Also, not a lot of people do that, so I recommend applying to those small places because everyone is applying on Indeed, but no one's actually taking the time to go on a specific website to find a job opportunity on there. Another thing that you could do is to look up private practices. So as far as you guys know, I worked for a private practice as soon as I came out of school. I absolutely loved it. It's very intimate, it's small, you get to know your patients a little bit more. A way to kind of figure out how to get into working for a private practice is maybe just simply Googling private practices in your area and honestly just call them and say like, do you have any sonography jobs opportunities there? My number one advice as far as finding a job, and I saved this best for last, is because this is mostly how I got all my jobs since I've graduated. Basically, it's just to keep in contact with everyone you've worked with. In the sonography field, it is very small. Like everybody knows everyone. Especially when I was going through clinical rotations, you are being sent to all these different medical facilities, whether it's a hospital or a clinic, and you're meeting all these people and they're actual sonographers and they're gonna remember you if you leave a good impression, or they'll remember you for leaving a bad impression. So just be cautious when you're at your clinicals, always leave a good impression, show them your work ethic, show them that you're eager to learn, you're eager to work there. My first job, I actually got hired at my clinical site because they liked me so much. When I was a student, they wanted me to be an employee. So then by the time I graduated, I had a job. Since then, I have moved on to get a different job, and the whole process as far as finding a job was very tiring. It was a little kind of frustrating to me, to be honest. It is hard to find a job in the field. It's not impossible though, so let me not scare you. It just takes a lot of work and dedication. You have to be very patient. And it's actually funny, the way that I got my new current job is because one of my old middle school friends, he told me that his mom worked in OBGYN a really long time ago, and he's like, yeah, just let me know. I thought she was like a nurse or something. Little did I know she was actually a sonographer, and she works for this great sonography company, and I started with them. I literally just sent them my resume. I had a scan interview, I had a formal interview with the boss, and it was simply just because I was friends with her son, and she, put in a good word for me, and now I'm working in a great OBGYN setting, and I absolutely love it. And also what's really funny as far as when I got hired at my new place was that the hiring person / my current boss, she literally said that she has heard great things about me from other sonographers who used to work for her. So there was one person that worked for her, she doesn't even work there anymore, but I worked at her facility and we were co-workers previously. She was like, oh my gosh, Christy's so good, she's such a good sonographer. I knew her when she was a student, and then I knew her when she was an employee. She's great. It was just the fact that she put in that good work, they had a lot of confidence in hiring me. The sonography world is so tiny, everybody knows everyone. These are just simple things as far as finding jobs and getting started. I had to do this all on my own. I hope that my job opportunity advice helps you guys as much as it did help me, because especially during a pandemic, it was so hard trying to find a new job. So I hope that this advice helps you out. Be sure to message me if you need me, and I hope you guys found this very helpful. Thanks, guys.